the first question, the biggest question that is hanging in people's mind will be, what will be the impact, right? Let's say if the pandemic is over, because we can see the growth has been coming a lot from the healthcare sector and E&E. So what will be the impact if, let's say, the pandemic is over and then it's not so crazy about gloves anymore? Would the revenue increase be able to be sustained? Datuk?
I think the glove picture is still pretty bullish in the sense that the need for gloves far exceed the production capability of the current players. And the thing is that although we hear a lot about expansion, the production of raw material is also another bottleneck. Most of the gloves that are being manufactured today are from nitrobutadiene, which is synthetic rubber made from petroleum products. And the facilities that are able to do that are limited. And also the quality of the raw materials that are coming out will also be different from different countries. So some of the new raw material, I believe, are coming out from new players based in China and elsewhere, and they are not as good quality as the existing suppliers. So all in, although we see a lot of news about new plants and extra production, a lot of them are hampered by the delivery of machines. A lot of them are hampered by raw material supply and also the quality of the gloves coming out from these new factories. So I would think that for the foreseeable future, at least for the next couple of years, it will remain a major demand, and supply is still short. So because of that, the extra capacity that we put in is not excessive, and the extra capacity, I think, will be just good for servicing the expansion of the plants in southern Thailand. So even if the glove industry overproduces and falls off the cliff, I think our extension of 50% is not excessive, and it's I would say it's conservative, and we are ahead of the cycle. We got our facility up and ready, and the expansion of the industry plants will follow. So we will be there to service them.
Yeah, some people were asking, right? How's the progress of the production capacity ramp up? Has it been completed?
It has been completed, and like I said, by next month we will start. So there are some delays, but the thing is, the corresponding glove extra capacity has also been delayed, and I think by some of the factors that I mentioned, it is not easy now to just get new machinery, and there's a long waiting list as well. So I think we are not late into servicing our customers, and that is the most important thing.
Okay. Secondly, one of the question Gudit was asking, Michael was asking, what of the biggest raw material for the carton box will be pulp price, right? How does the pulp price increase affect you? Because right now the pulp price is almost very, very high in the multi-year time. It has affected like multiple players. So are you able to pass on this cost, and or will it affect your margin?
We have to pass on the cost. It is not only something that affects us, it also affects all the other manufacturers of carton boxes and offset printers. So the thing is that all the players would have to pass on the price increase. But actually, if you look at the component the price component of the box versus the finished product, we are only a small percentage of the finished product. So it is not prohibitive for us to recover the cost increase.
Got it? That means even if you pass on, it's almost negligible to them, the effect.
Oh yes. Given the fact that they are selling their products at $10 to $15 US per box, our price increase wouldn't make any difference to them.
All right. So over to you, Terence.
Yes, Datuk, there were questions on whether you have many competitors in this glove packaging industry, and what stops a new competitor from coming in to take more market share besides you?
Well, the thing is that, like I said, there are three local players, and each of us have a healthy 30%. New players will take time, and we have not heard of any that coming in. Take time that find the land, acquire the land. They have to build factories. So anyone who wants to set up would take about a year or two in order to be fully operational. And also because of the distance, we are far away from Bangkok, where all the other competitors are. And also we are far away from the competitors in Malaysia. So that gives us a bit of natural protection against new players coming into the doorsteps. And right now, any new player who set up,
Terputus.
Not some issue. Yeah. So I think just now it has been pretty clear, being explained by Datuk, that whatever new capacity that comes in is highly likely to be fully consumed, and they are now just preempting lah. When the production is up, then they can. Hey, Datuk To is back. Yeah. So
sorry, there was a line drop, some technical error. So so the thing is that it's not easy for new players to come on now, given the raw material shortage. Even if you are willing to pay the higher price, the manufacturer of the raw material, they are not going to allocate you any extra paper or pulp for you to start your business.
Yeah. So actually, I read a news initially because I used to be invested in a tissue paper company. And at first I got surprised by the news. There was one very big company called Nine Dragon that came into Malaysia. So maybe you can explain a little bit about how does this affect Dnonce business, or will it affect Dnonce business? Because, as far as I know, they are coming into doing recycling business or something like that.
Well, we take our raw materials mainly from Thailand. Thailand have got their own paper manufacturers, and we supplement it with imports from other countries around, like China, Korea, and all that, from the major players. This is so as to diversify our raw material supply, and we don't depend only on one. Like I said, all of them have their hands full. Of course, they will supply existing customers, but if you are a new player coming to the market, not only do you face high prices, but there's also a shortage of raw materials.
Okay, thank you, Datuk. There's a question from Ming San over here, and she asks about whether how is your bargaining power like in terms of ASP for the packaging sector to the glove players?
I have encountered this question many times, but the thing is, we are a responsible supplier. I mean, we don't do when times are good. We don't increase our price unreasonably, and customers will always remember. So if you do that, then when times are bad and you need their help, they are not going to be very nice to you. So we depend on supply and demand. If the supply is less and the demand is very heavy, then we have to increase our price to balance out the situation so that everybody gets their share. But if it's the other way around, then we try and maintain our price or even lower our price. But in this current condition, I can only see the price going up, but we will not be responsible. We will not double the price or triple the price overnight just to make more money. So we have to maintain good relationship and good service to all our customers.
Great. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions on packaging segment. Yes, okay, there's a question from JT over here, and he asked whether how would the environmental friendly regulations in the future affect Dnonce's packaging segment?
For us, we observe all the government regulations. We clean our waste before any disposal, and we make sure that we do not discharge waste into the ecosystem or into the rivers and streams. We are very strict about that, and we have spent a lot of money in equipment just to make sure that our discharge meets the government regulations. So we are totally in compliance with all the environmental regulations that have been put up.
Okay, great. So Dnonce is a very responsible producer.
Any more questions?
Yes, there's one more question asking about whether the political instability in Thailand will affect the day-to-day operation of your factories.
Come again? Could you repeat the question?
Sorry, yeah. A question from Michael. Does the political instability in Thailand affect the day-to-day operation?
I think the Thai government, although they have a lot of coups and a lot of changes, they are always been business friendly, and so even with the current pandemic, they have maintained production. They did not shut down any of their factories during the COVID pandemic. So we think that the Thai government is very business friendly, and we have not had any interruptions from the government, or have we had any problems in our operations. If you go over to Bangkok now or to Thailand and visit some of their industrial complex, they are 2 or 3 times larger than what we have over in Malaysia, and that's because of a lot of trust from the foreigners to invest in the country.
Okay. I guess I have my last two questions on the healthcare segment, which is number one, how long will it take for the new capacity to be fully utilized according to your expectation? And number two, because there may be some economies of scale, so will this affect the margin, the profit margin, maybe increase your profit margin because the new production may not need much higher overhead?
Those are good questions. Ramping up will depend, although when we size our production capacity, we size it based on our customers' installation or expansion of their plants. But however, like I said, they have been a bit behind from what they projected. Originally, they said it's beginning of the year, but now it seems more like towards the third quarter or even the end of the year before they come fully up. So the thing is, we are not in. I mean, we will take it when it comes. We are not pushing them. We can't push them anyway. They will do it at their own pace. The other thing is that as we expand and add capacity, whatever we see in the revenue less the raw material cost will flow down right down almost to the bottom line, all of it, mainly because we have a factory already built. We have all the overheads already catered for by the old production capacity. So the incremental cost for us would be less, and that makes us more competitive, and that also makes our profit margin better. So I would only say that for the healthcare sector, which makes up about 40% of our earnings, that will continue to grow much more than the E&E sector, and so we will see increase in earnings if there are no other factors coming in to disrupt it.